Okay, so to create our flow, we can click on this button in Logic and Automation, and then we can add a new flow, or we can go to the actual application page and we do a search. We just do Flow Designer, and we get the general page that contains all the flows. Now, this is going to give us a list in our dev instance that has all the flows that have been created. So we'll wait that for it to load up. Again, you can do it from either page. So we have this, and then we start and we go ahead and click on new, we create a new flow. So let's do that now. Okay, so we went ahead and we added the flow name, so product, financial product assessment workflow. We have the application, which is already set up there, which is great. Then we have what the action or the description is going to be for this flow. So let's go ahead and click flow. Okay, now we need to define the trigger. So we're going to go ahead and add a trigger. And the trigger here is record created. So record created, that's the trigger. And then we are going to configure the trigger. So the table is financial product, which is what we created. So let's do that now. We're having an issue there. So when the trigger, it says when it's created. And the table, again, this is the table we're going to create here. It's going to be the financial. So let's do a search here, financial product, which is what we want. Perfect. Okay, so then we're done. We're not going to add the condition yet. We don't need that. We're going to do that later on, but let's just move on to the next step. So here, hit done. And now we're going to add the actions. And the first action, do action, and then we're going to do update record. Okay, so ServiceNow core, and then we do update record, which is what we want there. So we have the updated record option. Now we need to drag the financial product. So we go here, financial product, which is right here. So we want to drag over. Okay, so we get the financial record. We're going to drag that across. And then we are going to, so we have financial product there, which is great. Then we're moving on to the field section. So we're going to add a field. And under the field, it's going to be product status or product status here. So which is this one here, that's our table. And then the product status is going to be in review, just right there. Okay, that's the first one we're going to do. Now that we have the first one, the first action, we're going to create another action. So go and create another action. Under the action, we're going to look for the same product here. So it'd be financial product, and we want to do data. We can just drag it across. So do that now. Apologies, we're going to actually create a new task now. So we're in the right section. So we go action, create task. So there should be a create task there, which is what we want. And then we want the task on the table itself. So we go to the table, that should be SE underscore task. So that should be on in there, which is perfect. That's the table, the field we want, the table we want. Then we actually start doing the fields. So the field values that we're going to add here, short description, which should be on here, which is there. And then we're going to type this in here, what we have, and then we'll do the assignment group, the due date, before we fill this. So I'm just going to do that now. So here we're actually going to, I'm going to explain this here. So I typed in initial screening 4, and we can just drag the pill. The pill we want is U or underscore product name. So it should be on here. So if we look through this, there should be a pill here that has that name. So let's see, product name, product name. It's right there. And that's the pill that we drop right there. Perfect. Okay, now we do the assignment group. Under the assignment group, we need to do the product management leadership, which we're doing now. Okay, so we had to actually create a product management leadership group, which is what we have here. So now whenever the initial screening for the new product is submitted, it's going to go to that group to review first, which we did there. And then the last field is the due date. So we're going to determine a due date here, which is due date. And then, yeah, that would be set to a reasonable due date, which we can do here, which would be perfect. So on the actual due date, I'm not going to put a due date. I'm just going to put in a duration, and I'm going to use 3 days since this option will actually exclude weekends and holidays. So now that we have completed the action here, again, we're doing the financial product record. This is a table. We're saying that if the product status is not sent to review, we're going to go ahead and trigger this action. So let's move on to the next step. So the next step is the actual logic for the assessment or the rejection. So we're going to create another action here, or sorry, another flow logic this case. So we're going to do an if statement. So if the financial product record is and the status is an assessment, inside the if block, we're going to add a subflow essentially. So with the risk assessment subflow. So let's get into that right now. Okay, so we're going to say, so the condition item is going to be financial product. So if the status of the financial product is an assessment, we are going to add essentially a subflow. So let's add another subflow here. And then risk assessment is what we need to do because this is going to be what we're going to be using. So see, we can find risk assessment. It's probably not going to be here. It's probably going to have to go through these guys here. So let's do that. So because I wanted to set this up under new version of the new release, Zurich release for ServiceNow, I actually had to install some plugins on my PDI. So one of the plugins that I had to install was this Integrated Risk Management, which I've done so we can continue with our product or our project here. Okay, so I'm not sure how far I got with the other the subflow that I was creating here. So again, we created this flow where we're waiting for the product condition to be met. Now we're going to create a flow logic. So let's go into our flow logic. We can use the if statement. So this is where we just plug in different tables, different conditions using the pills on the right there. So okay, so we missed a step. We actually need to create a wait for condition. On this one, we are referencing the product, the financial product record. This is the table we're going to be using. The status is we want to set it to is not in review. That way we can wait for the initial assessment to be processed. So that's the one step we're missing. Okay, now we're going to move into a flow logic. So we're going to click on the three dots here. We're going to do a flow logic, and then we're going to be using this statement. So under if and then, so the condition label, we would just want to call it maybe just call it conditional logic for assessment, maybe, or rejection. I think that's a good name here. So we're just going to go ahead and put that in. All right, we're going to drag in the pill. To drag in the pill that we need to drag in will be the financial product on this one. So we can just do financial product. So we're going to drag into the condition here, and then record status, which is what we need to do here. So let's set that up right now. Actually, if product, so financial product, if the status of financial product, so product status is not, which is what we're trying to do, I'm sorry, is assessment, then we can run this here. So that's what we wanted to do. And then we need to go into the if block here, and we need to add another action on here, another subflow on here. And the subflow is going to be request risk assessment. So hopefully we have this working now. This is what we're trying to install later. So we're going to see if we have it. Oh, there it is. Perform risk assessment. Perfect. All right, we're going to do a risk assessment. Okay, so we're going to perform a risk assessment. Table name is going to be the financial product. This is going to be the financial product record, the logic ID. Lowest step will be the assessor, and then approval will be Harvey Specter. Okay, so if the assessment goes through, we go ahead and we notify the product manager. If it gets rejected, we're going to create an email that goes out. So we're going to have it here, your product proposal is declined, and then we have a reference to the product name on the actual message itself. Okay, so we created that email if the product is denied. Now we're creating one when it's approved. So we set another action. We're going to wait for the condition. Product status is set to approval. Then we complete that action there. We're towards the last step. We're actually approving it. So all the SPL management will be able to approve. Then the actual approval notification will go out. Okay, so we had to change our tables, our backend tables, to have the approval and approval history added. So we've done that now on the end tables. Okay, so we went ahead and we created conditions when the assessment or rejection is sent. We have the if and else. The same thing for approval. We have if and L, and same thing or if or else, excuse me. When its approval is rejected. So hopefully it works. We're going to activate it now. And we click activate, and hopefully this will work. So the financial product assessment workflow is active and it's working. Now we just need to create the actual portals where the product propositions will be implemented on and before they go through this process. And then post that, we're going to create the dashboards to track the status of the live status of these proposals.